Looks like we're live. All right, what's up, everyone? This is the Osmo.com NHL Hit the Ice show. I'm Jake Hari here to break down this 10-game NHL slate alongside Steve Homercleese Bauer. Steve, how are you doing on this Tuesday afternoon? Ready to play some hockey?
Not bad at all. Yeah. Looking forward to it. Got a nice 10-game slate here, so
Yeah,
should be a good one.
should be a good one indeed. As far as like ownership goes, do you see it being pretty spread out? That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. There's a couple lines that may see heavier ownership, like the big guns, like Colorado won and Winnipeg won is the other big one. But what are you seeing on this slate from just overall?
Yeah, I kind of see Washington and Winnipeg.
Washington.
Yeah, Washington won.
Mhm.
With the Wings on the back-to-back there, and then you got Oshie back playing with Ovechkin and Backstrom. That's going to be that one should be pretty popular, I think. And then the probably the McKinnon line, I think, as well.
Yeah,
Would be the big one.
for sure. Yeah, so it should make for a pretty fun slate. You see anything as far as like contests you want to talk about? Have you decided what you're going to play, or are you going to figure it out after the show here?
I'm kind of teasing a few ideas here. I think I'll play some lineups in that 33 on the waffle board thing on DraftKings, and then they got $100 on FanDuel that looks pretty good too.
Yeah, I got the 1-800-GAMBLER ad. Yeah, Celia, that's they're catering to the target market, I suppose.
It's a sign.
Maybe not you specifically, but maybe they just see you going on DraftKings all the time. But yeah, the 33 on DK I think is probably where I'm gonna stick, and I'm just gonna do 20 max. The max for that is 106. So
Wild,
I mean I have no interest in doing that. Obviously, I'm not Alex or Tom or Eddie.
I just think it's interesting that they made the prize pool $100,000 and $4.
Yeah, what was that? So it's
That's got to be a typo, right?
Yeah, the $4 goes to the second place
Second
winner.
place.
So it's like you went over 10 grand, $10,004.
That
If you
makes
get
no
second.
sense. I don't know what's going on there.
I mean, I'd gladly settle for second in that tournament though. It's so top heavy. But yeah, I don't know. Do you want to get into this 10 games? I guess we probably got to get it moving. Even though there isn't a basketball show on, probably keep it to an hour.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, cool.
Let's get into her.
Yeah. Hopefully we can figure some stuff out along the way. Arizona and Boston, we have Darcy Kemper going up against Tuukka Rask. 2.4 implied total for Arizona, 3.1 for the Bruins. Right away, it seems like this is a pretty decent spot for Boston 1. Not really super interested in the rest of their lines, but what are you seeing here, Steve?
Yeah, pretty much. No interest in the rest of Boston's lines. Those are pretty junk. So it's pretty much Boston 1. But that's a pretty solid line. I noticed they weren't as great defensively, but they also played the Leafs in their first game together. So that's going to influence the defensive stats a little bit. And then they had the Sens on a back-to-back on the road, which I think they dominated that matchup anyway.
Yeah, that was
So
I played a little bit of Boston 1. I can't remember in their last game, and they were, I think it was on Saturday actually, and they were really solid. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. You obviously like it better with Krejci between them rather than like Forsberg and Carlson or Kobe Cage. But he is getting up there now in price. DK reacted pretty quickly to that.
As they should, I think.
Yeah, anyone centering Marchand and Pasternak should be pretty expensive for assist equity alone. But do you see anything else in this game that you're looking at? Like some of these Arizona lines were coming up as filler stacks for me, and I didn't really like it. I hate the low total. I don't like the matchup against Pasternak and Marchand, and I don't really know how they're going to match up. So I'm kind of leaning towards excluding Arizona in my 20 max. What about you, Steve?
Yeah, it's tricky. Galchenyuk's not likely to play.
Yeah.
So that's going to change things as well. So I don't know who's going to play with Stepan and Fisher. And then you got Krause on the top line for Schmaltz and Keller. I like Schmaltz and Keller, but Krause does nothing offensively. And I think that would probably be the matchup that the Krejci line goes against. So most likely.
The Stepan line?
No, the
Schmaltz
and
Keller. Yep.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That would be my guess because Keller's been their best scorer. and the Bruins did went pretty hard match against Tavares last game.
Okay.
With that top line, and then they left their second and third lines to deal with the other two lines for the Leafs. They kind of mixed a match there. So I don't know. Yeah, like in theory, Schmaltz and Keller are the only two guys I have any real interest in on the Coyotes in general. Maybe Stepan as well, but the way they're kind of spread out there, and they got Krause on their wing flanking them, I don't think that's going to make for a lot of offense here. So I kind of, if I'm playing anyone from the Coyotes, it'd probably be Kemper.
Okay.
Just because if that Boston top line doesn't score, I don't trust the second and third lines to do anything at all anyway. So yeah. I'll take a few shots on Kemper. I don't have high hopes at all.
Yeah, I think they're like, even the second line for Boston's super cheap. There's actually a couple other lines in that same price range that I like a lot better that actually have some numbers to back that up. So I'm not really concerning myself with any other lines besides Boston 1 here, and probably, especially with the Galchenyuk news that you touched on, if he doesn't play, that makes that second line a lot less appealing for me because he's 3,300 and would be on the top power play, and we're probably not going to get that.
Like he's been really poor lately for the last little while. He hasn't done anything, so it doesn't really hurt much. It probably makes Arizona better without him. I don't know, but in theory, he should be a good offensive player.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, if you look at those Boston depth lines, like Backes, he's useless at 5-on-5. His only appeal is that he's on the power play, but the Coyotes have the best penalty kill in the league, so kind of a tough spot.
Yeah.
So I don't really want to jump on that.
Yeah. So you think Krug is a little overpriced then for 5,800, or is he?
I think that's pretty reasonable considering what he's doing, and that he'll probably play the full 5-on-5 with that top line anyway. They tend to do that with him, so I think that's appealing. I like him as a full 4-man stack with Krejci on there as well. I wouldn't be doing any Boston power play stacks or anything weird like that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Chychrun, a good punt tonight. We got a question in chat.
Sure. Boston's not a big, heavy shooting team right now without Bergeron and the full team there. Mm-hmm. They've been playing pretty dull style in general, so his shots and blocks floor is probably going to go down a little bit. I expect this to be kind of a grinding 5-on-5 matchup.
Awesome. Were you ready to move on, or you got anything else
you
want to mention?
No, that's about it. I mean, I don't have great feels about anything on the Arizona side, and then Boston's just the top line. So obviously Rask is a good play too, is a big home favorite at a reasonable price.
I like it. Yeah, there's a few of those tonight in that same range, so he's one of those guys that's up there for me.
Yeah.
Kings and Sabres, we have a 2.4 implied total for the Kings, 3.1 for Buffalo. Could be quick on the back-to-back. I'm not exactly sure what the status of the Kings goalies is right now, but it's going to be Allmark for Buffalo. And again, kind of another game where I'm just concerned with the home top line here, but I don't know if you've got something else for me here, Steve.
First of all, DraftKings has a little note on Peterson saying he's the starter, so I just want to confirm that. So it's probably not going to be quick.
Not going to be quick? All right. I mean, it would make sense. They played last night.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't face a ton of shots, though. I still don't see anything confirmed on daily face-off. I'd have to look that up.
Yeah.
I don't know where DraftKings is getting that info from. Let me see if there's a source here. Yeah, there's no source on it.
Oh, no source?
Okay. Yeah, but it says he's supposed to make his first start of December on Tuesday against Buffalo.
Okay. Maybe I'll do a quick Twitter search.
Yeah, so it's possible. Hey, he's pretty cheap there at 7,400. So I guess very similar situation to the Boston-Arizona game. It would be the top line for the home team, and then the both goalies, I think. Allmark at 7,900 is pretty appealing, and he's cheap on FanDuel as well. So goalies against the Kings in general, very solid play.
RotoWire says Cal Peterson set to face the Sabres on Tuesday, so I would consider him likely then. Not confirmed.
I would expect him.
Yeah, expected to start. Yeah, NHL.com. So there, we're getting a couple decent sources there. So you should expect Cal Peterson to be in net. You mentioned, did you say you liked Buffalo 1 here?
Yeah, I do like Buffalo 1. The Kings, they're not giving up a lot at 5-on-5, but their penalty kill is pretty bad.
Yeah,
and I believe they're giving up a lot of opportunities. Plus, on the back-to-back doesn't help.
Right. Yeah. Back-to-back, and Buffalo, it's not like a price point that's going to stick out to you. So I like that from a GPP perspective. You can't fit them in with Winnipeg or Colorado, obviously. And I think they're going to be one of the lower owned of these upper echelon lines. So I like them. Hopefully can get a lineup or two of Buffalo 1 in my 20. But yeah, that's really the only thing I have in this game. I don't think I'll end up on the Kopitar Brown IFL line. Anything below that is pretty trash, kind of like Boston, and then same thing with Buffalo. So
yep,
pretty uninteresting game for me.
Yeah, exactly. I think I might have some of the Kopitar line in MME, but other than that, they won't be a priority.
Would you expect the Eichel line to go up against Kopitar for the most part here?
What I've seen from the Eichel line is they're playing against every line, usually. They don't hard match, I find, at home. Maybe see slightly more time against Kopitar, but they'll see every line.
We've got Dahlin and Ristolainen both on the top power play, at least listed there for now. Would your lean be Ristolainen there if salary wasn't an issue?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's got the better floor than Dahlin.
Mm-hmm.
So, although Dahlin lately has been seeing a ton more minutes, and he does block some shots. Okay, so that's not so bad. Just in general, maybe it's just a bias, but Ristolainen feels like a better floor play.
Does he feel like a better upside play? It feels like, I don't know, maybe this is just bias from recent years. But like
maybe more likely to score the goals. I think Dahlin's purely a passer.
Yeah, I guess I'm just like, I get infatuated with Ristolainen's minutes that he sees. Like he sees like 25 minutes and stuff. So that's probably why he pops more for me on projections, whereas I just don't have as big of a sample size on Dahlin. So
yeah, there is a discount to Dahlin though. That's I guess the appeal for him.
Yeah,
is being the cheaper option. So I'm fine with both. I mean, I would prefer Ristolainen if you can get up to him, essentially.
Yeah, and like looking at Dahlin's minutes, 20, 29, 22, 20, 25, 24. So
yeah, well scattered.
Yeah,
but pretty good.
But getting 20 plus every night is the important thing. All right, that's really all I have here. You got any LA defensemen you want to punt with, or Doughty for 4,600? No,
nothing there.
All right, Toronto and Carolina. We have a 3.2 implied total for the Leafs, 2.9 for Carolina. Frederik Andersen likely going up against Peter Mrazek. And this is yet another game where I'm struggling to get exposure to. I don't see like any like smash spot here. Carolina is without Jordan Staal, so that's going to make them a little bit worse defensively. But you still got Aho and Teravainen. It should be a game that features a decent amount of shots. Carolina always attempts a ton of shots. But what do you have here, Steve, for DFS tonight?
Yeah, the Leafs are going to be tough to figure out now with those three different viable line combos. Mm-hmm. It's pretty difficult there because they're all appealing in some way or another. So it's tough. You don't really know how teams are going to match up. Carolina's slightly changed their lines. There's not a lot of data on the new combos. So this is kind of a tricky game overall. I know this should be a good game. Something, you can tell something good's going to come out of it because Carolina's so good with the volume and all that.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, I think Andersen makes for the biggest high risk, high reward GPP play. So he's 8K on DraftKings, which is very reasonable. He's the most expensive goalie on FanDuel. So he would be GPP only there, I guess, because he's 9,200. So maybe that decreases his ownership a little bit, but he does have that upside still.
Yeah, and like looking at his last game got pulled against Boston.
Yeah, Boston.
Just a
and
he'd had
a really stellar record against Boston before that.
So just kind of a blip on the radar there. But
yeah.
Games before that, like Toronto's allowing 40 shots on goal in their last 4 starts that Andersen had. And then you add in the fact that Carolina just takes so many shots and a lot of them are lower danger. It just seems like a really good spot for Andersen to see 35, 40 shots again. And he's the type of goalie that can stand on his head. So on the road here, I think at pretty low ownership, I think both of us agree with Osmo's grades here. A points grade, A value, even at that 8K price point.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have
so I'm very interested in him, but yeah, because he will see a ton of volume, it makes sense to look at the other side as well, right? You probably want to play both sides of that one in GPPs, or at least both sides you can see merit to.
For sure. Do you have a lean on either side here? I'm assuming on Carolina's side it's Aho Teravainen.
Yeah. Generally, I like to go with them, but I don't. I think that Svechnikov, Williams, Walmart's not bad either. I think there's some merit to them as well. Like they're fairly cheap, but yeah, Teravainen and Aho would be the best play.
Yeah.
For me.
I like Tavares Marner quite a bit. I don't know what to expect from them with Brown up there, but he is priced in like the Zach Hyman range, below 4K on DraftKings. So as a full stack, I think he could do worse. It's just like you said, it's so tough with 3 viable lines on a slate like this.
Yeah.
Where I don't know if I'm going to get to much of anything outside of some Tavares Marner.
Well, the Matthews line there is very high event, at least as far as expected goals, high danger stuff as well. Mm-hmm. So while they're generating a ton in a small sample together, they're also giving up a ton as well. So I think they have more more upside.
Yep.
And I'm willing to take a shot on that third line, that the Kadri line there, because they started to heat things up a little bit in that Boston game. They played pretty well. They will see probably the weaker lower lines from the Canes, I would think, the weaker possession lines. So they're pretty cheap too. They're very cheap too. So I think they're worth a shot as far as if you need some value on this slate. I think it's pretty reasonable. If you just look at the talent on that line, Nylander, Marleau, Kadri, I think very reasonable line. It's only in one game, but they had a decent number of high danger chances against the Bruins and shot attempts. Yeah. So that's the problem working with these small sample sizes. You don't know how good of a line they actually are, but given their potential matchup here, I think it's worth taking a shot on them. And I expect Nylander to start rounding into form a little bit more.
For sure, yeah. You make a good point about just that line being so cheap. Like, you're not used to seeing Nylander under 5K. Kadri at 4K is crazy. Yeah. I'm assuming you're talking about DraftKings. I haven't looked at the FanDuel price.
Yes, they're cheaper on DraftKings.
They're cheaper overall?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you don't often see that.
No.
Okay. And Carolina's PK is garbage, is that correct?
Let's
see.
I haven't paid close attention to that recently, but...
They're
kind of spread out over the 2 units, though. They have Marleau and Nylander on one, and Kadri's... Now that Kadri is barely used on the top power play unit when Matthews is there. It doesn't go through him at all. So it's not super appealing. But yeah, if you... Carolina's penalty kill is not great results-wise, but they don't give up too many unblocked shot attempts.
Okay. You got any defensemen here you want to talk about? I see Dougie Hamilton's under 5K, and then on the other side, Morgan Rielly at 6,300. Man, that's super expensive for him still. I don't know. What do you see on the defensive side here?
Carolina has a ton of viable defensemen here. They have a lot of very good ones. Hamilton, Falk, those would be the top 2 options. But Slavin and Pesci's back right now.
Oh, yeah.
And Pesci's a really good floor play in general for his price. 3,700 is pretty solid. DeHaan's not even bad at 3,200 there.
Yeah. DeHaan was the one that was coming up for me as a punt quite a bit.
Yeah. So if we're looking for cheap defensemen, I'd rather take them from this Carolina-Toronto game.
Yeah, and then just to you like taking defensemen against Toronto in general, right? Because they're bad at.
In general, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Falk and Hamilton are both very strong options there.
I like it. And then any shots here with Mrazek? We kind of talked about Anderson already.
6,900, sure. Yeah, I'll take some shots here.
That's kind of where I'm at. Just like if he makes the lineup fit and he's the last guy in, he's at home, decent shot at a win. No stall hurts, but still.
I mean, him playing is the main reason why I like the Leafs, but still, I'll take some shots.
Yeah.
I'll take some shots on Mrazek.
Jimmy Howard did it last night. Granted, it was against LA, but
LA, right? Yeah. That's why I like Allmark so much tonight.
Oh, LA, they're atrocious to watch, by the way. Just on a hockey level.
Super dull.
They're so bad to watch. That Detroit LA game, I had to turn off like 5 minutes in. It's really, really bad. All right, Vancouver and the Columbus Blue Jackets. We've got Jacob Markstrom going up against, we're not sure yet, but could be Korpisalo. That's what one of the beat writers for Columbus said this morning.
Yeah, that's his guess, or is
that was
like
the
first
guess.
off or
That
something?
was the
Yeah.
guess.
Okay.
I don't know if they skated or maybe it was an optional skate, but I did see one of the beat writers say something about Korpisalo would be my guess. So I don't know how much weight you want to put into that, but he is 7,600 and a pretty decent home favorite here. Which lines are sticking out to you in this game, Steve?
Well, I don't know. I saw last game they had the brutal game against the Flames, and then they got shut out by the Capitals. And partway through that game, they split Panarin off the top line. So I wasn't sure if did we get a pregame skate today, like a morning skate?
I don't think we did. I think that's why the beat writers were guessing.
Yeah. So don't be surprised if we see something change. I know Tortorella is terrible with that.
Yeah.
But luckily it's a 7:00 game.
Yeah.
Okay, no, the team Twitter accounts tweeting out projected lines, but I don't know how reliable that is. I'd like to see it I'd like to see that specifically. Oh no, they're saying okay. I think these lines might be confirmed.
Are they confirmed?
According to some beat writers, yeah, they say look for Bjorkstrand and Duclair on the same line tonight.
Yeah, I like that.
So I feel like there's something hard to go off of here. So
maybe they skated yesterday or Sunday. Okay. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll assume those lines for now. I do really like that top line. I think they're solid in any matchup, especially at home against an inferior team. Yeah. So I think that's reasonable. But Columbus has been pretty poor defensively lately. They've had a lot of issues. So I think it's reasonable to play Vancouver here tonight. And Pettersson Boeser line's my favorite option there.
And Josh Leivo too is just 3,100. Yeah. And they're all listed on the top power play too, which is really nice.
They are. I'm not certain I saw that happen last game. Not Leivo.
Okay.
But yeah, it looked like it was Goldobin last game. So I don't know how accurate that is.
Yeah, it could just be daily face-off guessing.
Or from a previous game. Well, actually, I see that Leivo had some time. He's just not showing up on this graphic that I'm looking at.
Okay.
So okay.
I mean, it doesn't make that big of a difference, right? He's 31.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So yeah, you pinpointed the two lines I really like here, Dubois and then the Pettersson line for Vancouver if you're going there. But like I like all three lines here for Columbus actually. Like assuming we see Duclair and Bjorkstrand centered by Wenberg. Yeah, I really, really like that line as a cheapie because I'm going to Winnipeg 1 and Colorado 1 tonight, and they just fit in so nice, and you can still fit in a power play 1 quarterback. So it just fits, and they have really, really good numbers together in a decent sample. So
yeah, 50 minutes. I'm seeing that now. Yeah, that's pretty good.
They're just mega cheap. People like playing the Jenner, Foligno, Anderson line. I'm one of those people. They're under 15K. And they also go with a lot of good lines and not really worried about any matchup on Vancouver. So, yeah, it's really about Columbus here. I'm going to have exposure to all three lines in my 20 lineups. And it's going to be pretty split.
Yeah, that's a good call. I definitely see merit to that line for sure. You got Wenberg on the top power play unit at least, and Bjorkstrand on the second unit. So, yeah, getting some time there against Vancouver's poor penalty kill is pretty solid too.
Bjorkstrand had 15 minutes last game too, and he had 4 shots on goal. I'm sure he attempted a few more, and just 2,700 is really nice if you're looking for a really cheap one-off.
Well, he always brings so much offensively, but he always ends up in the doghouse too with his defensive play.
Just forever in the Tortorella doghouse.
Yeah, so that's the only shitty part is that he keeps getting bumped down. One thing I'm seeing Ryan Murray up with Seth Jones now. I know when he was up playing with him earlier, he had a bit more value down there at a cheap price tag. So
he's at 4,200 tonight.
He's at 4,200 now. Maybe a bit much on DraftKings. He's 3,800 on FanDuel. Yeah. So really I think he's kind of a guy. He's a guy that I like below 4K on FanDuel.
I like it. And then got kind of the obvious guys, Jones and Werenski. Werenski down on that third pairing or second or third pairing, whatever you want to call it. Probably hurts a little bit not skating with Jones. Just makes Jones the more clear option with Columbus 1, I think. But Werenski is perfectly fine with any of the other two lines, I think.
Yep.
Ownership for Columbus 1 versus Winnipeg 1. What do you think right now, Steve?
Oh, it's going to be Winnipeg one for sure.
Yeah,
I'm not sure exactly what the numbers, but Winnipeg should be the more popular one.
I think Winnipeg one is pretty safely going to be the highest owned line of the night.
Yeah, so I can see maybe in higher stakes, Columbus gets a bit more ownership.
Yeah, I mean they're just way cheaper. They're like 18-7.
Everyone's very value dependent on those ones, or they pay closer attention to value rather than just picking, oh, this line's in the best spot, so I'm just going to play them regardless of price.
Right.
I think that's the biggest thing you see.
Agreed. And then we've got some defensemen on Vancouver that could possibly be viable. Edler for 5,200 jumps out to me a little bit as even a standalone guy. Block shot equity is pretty big in this game. I would expect Columbus to take quite a few shots. And I guess Hutton, we've been playing a little bit. Stecker is 2,500. Is it Stetcher or Stecker for 2,500?
I knew the answer. I can't remember. I haven't watched him play in some time.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't watch many Canucks games, as you can see.
I remember it being one of the other, and I was wrong for a time, and but I didn't pay attention to what it was.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think 2,500 is always a nice price tag, but he doesn't really do too much.
Okay.
If you have to punt a guy, sure.
I saw him in a bunch of Alex's lineups the other day.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if there's something to it. I was looking into him a little bit, and sure. I think it was just because he was min salary and he just fit and he was getting power play time.
Yeah, maybe he's the best of the 2,500 guys.
Yeah, which isn't really saying much.
Yeah.
You like Markstrom here? Osmo does not.
Yeah, I was gonna say it seems like a tough spot. It's a really good expected goals matchup for Columbus at 5-on-5, and then you have the bad penalty kill for Vancouver. So it's a bit of a tricky spot here. I think with the offense that the Columbus brings to the table here, it's probably a good idea to fade Markstrom.
Yeah, and Vancouver, not only do they have a bad kill, but they also take a ton of penalties too, which doesn't help their cause.
Yeah, exactly.
Just Korpisalo for me here.
Yeah.
Detroit and Washington, we have 2.5 implied total for the Wings, 3.6 for the Caps. Jonathan Bernier expected to go on the back-to-back for Detroit. Braden Holtby for the Caps. You mentioned Washington 1 might be one of the higher-owned lines of the night. Talk about them. How much Washington 1 do you see yourself having tonight?
As much as I can fit. They're expensive, I think. What are they at?
Let's see.
I think they're over 21, I think. No.
19.9.
No, they're cheaper. So that's pretty cheap. Exactly. So that's why I think they'll be popular. I remember going through the pricing last night. 19.9 is pretty good because then you see Winnipeg and Colorado are over 20K. They're like 21 and 22K respectively, something like that.
Yep. 21-2 for Winnipeg 1, 22-1 for Colorado 1.
Yeah, okay. So right away you get a price discount there. You get a tired team on a back-to-back. Team that's got a bad penalty kill in the Wings and a really good power play. You get all three guys on the power play together.
Yeah.
You don't have that disjointed crap with Winnipeg where Ehlers isn't on the top power play unit.
Uh-huh.
So right away, that's all pretty appealing.
Yeah.
Oshie is coming off of, I believe, a concussion or something. What was his?
Oshie? Yeah,
concussion.
He got crushed. I can't remember.
Yeah, so that's kind of tough. But Backstrom and Ovechkin are going pretty hot, running pretty hot right now. So I think he'll fit right in.
Backstrom oddly under 6K for whatever reason.
He's more expensive than Kuznetsov. Kuznetsov is kind of interesting that he's so expensive there, considering he hasn't played on that Ovechkin line in some time.
Yeah, maybe DK thought Kuznetsov was on the top line or something. That would make a little bit more sense.
Possibly. I mean, he's played well. He's on a bit of a point streak here, and that I think that second line's kind of sneaky too as a value line.
The second line?
Kuznetsov, okay. Conley, and Vrana.
Sure.
It was slightly more appealing before Oshie came back for me because Conley was getting top power play time.
Yeah.
But at 15.6, I think is the price. They're pretty cheap.
Right, because they had Burakovsky up there. He's going to be a scratch, by the way, if anybody saw that.
Top line to healthy scratch. Interesting.
He's another one that's just forever in the doghouse, but he's got like good per 60 numbers. So I always fall into the trap. And then he ends up playing like 10 minutes. All right, so I wasn't really considering the Kuznetsov line, but maybe I should look into them a little bit more. I like the matchup if they're going to see.
Look at their underlying numbers there with 55 minutes of ice time. They had 67 shot attempts per 60 minutes and almost 15 high danger scoring chances per.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that was appeal. I noticed right off the bat they seem to be a high event line. Like they're giving up a lot of chances as well. But their offense, like as the sample size is getting bigger, their offensive numbers are sticking and they're doing a little bit better defensively.
Yeah, that 14.7 high danger chance. That's high danger chances per 60. That's pretty nice. And seeing a team on a back-to-back that we know isn't that great, and then they're going to see probably the Clendening and the Nielsen lines, like those are two really good matchups. So they kind of slip through the cracks for me.
As a value line, I'd like to include them. They would probably fit decently with the other top two lines.
Yeah, I got to make a note of them because I just saw Washington won and I was just blinded by everything else. Because like you mentioned, great power play spot. Detroit is another one of those teams that has been shorthanded. They're top 5 in the NHL in that category, below 80% penalty kill. And then Bernier and net never is going to help your cause. Back to back, all that stuff.
They gave up 40 shots last night to LA. So
yeah.
And they won't have Howard to bail them out.
Right. So John Carlson, I think up there with like the Yossi's of the night.
Yeah.
6,600, but well worth the price of admission, as EMAC would say. I don't know. What else you got in this game? Do you like any of these Detroit lines, Larkin or the Nielsen lines?
Yeah, I'll take a shot on the Larkin line. Most likely.
Okay.
Their numbers are really solid. Their underlying numbers, their shot attempts and high danger chances for are very solid.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to take a shot there against it. Washington also is a little bit sketchy on the penalty kill as well, so that helps Detroit. And then you're going against Ovechkin at even strength, so I don't expect them to be as good defensively.
Right. Yeah. So both of them are coming up as decent values just because of the Washington chances allowed as a team. They're not that great defensively at even strength or the power play or the penalty kill, I should say. So some interest in both the Larkin and the Nielsen line. So I guess top 6 for both sides here. This is going to be a game I'm going to have heavy exposure to all the way around. Cholowski on the top power play scored last night. His price went down 3,300 on DK. Is he your preferred guy in Detroit?
Mike Green is.
Mike Green, 4,700. Yeah. Does it worry you at all? He's not on the top power play.
Is he not on the top? He wasn't on the top power play last night.
I
didn't catch up on last night's game.
But
let me just see what he did. It was Cholowski on the top unit. They changed the top unit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's interesting.
That before yesterday.
Yeah. Okay, so that definitely helps Cholowski. I know that for a while Cholowski's been on a bit of a drought, but in that case, then Cholowski would be the preferred play.
All right, and then Holtby at 8,400 or Bernier at 67. Any of these guys?
Neither.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the Panthers and Blues. We have a 2.9 implied total for Florida, 3.1 for St. Louis. We've got a little bit of news to talk about. Jaden Schwartz returns for the Blues, and he's going to be with Perron and Shen on the second line. So you can read about all the news from this morning's Morning Skate on the article that I'm going to post in chat right now from the Osmo.com account. So read that. That's Nolan Kelly's article. He does this article every single day, pretty much every day. On the weekdays, just kind of sums up Morning Skate, any changes. So I'm reading straight from that. And O'Reilly is back with Tarasenko and Steen, so he's got some real line mates to play with. Sanford is going to be a scratch, I believe. And then there was another guy, Kyrou. He's also going to be out. So don't play any of those guys. We've got some real lines on St. Louis now. So what does that do for DFS for you tonight, Steve?
Yeah, I really don't know how to get a read on St. Louis. They have obvious talent and just really underperforming. The top line seems pretty appealing there. Their sample size is only 25 minutes together, but it looked pretty solid offensively. I think O'Reilly and Tarasenko should both be on the top power play unit, which is good. Florida's penalty kills struggled. So that's really good. I don't know how they're going to match at even strength. Ideally, I'd like to avoid the Barkov line there, if possible.
Okay. Have their numbers turned around a little bit? I haven't paid attention to them.
They switched the line, the Barkov line, you mean, or
Barkov, Huberdeau with Dadonov.
Yeah, so they've only played 15 minutes together.
Oh, I'm thinking of. Oh, okay. It was Hoffman.
So they've mixed Hoffman in with those three. It's been between the four of them, but this specific combination's only played 15 minutes. Okay. I think, I really don't know what to expect on that. If it changes it much. In general, Barkov's known as a good two-way player. Right. Probably hurts to go against him. So ideally, you'd like if they didn't play against them, but who knows what's going on with St. Louis these days, honestly.
Yeah, no idea.
It's hard to say. I'll just bet on talent here. Like on St. Louis, I'd rather play the top line there. Schwartz coming back from an injury. I think Schwartz and Perron won't have a lot of very good shot attempt metrics or high danger chances, but they're the kind of line that they have enough talent that they can score regardless of those.
Okay.
If they get a chance. And then maybe they avoid the Barkov line and get a much better matchup. So I wouldn't be surprised if they went off, but they didn't end up having great underlying numbers in the game.
Yeah.
Like one of those bizarre cases. So it would be GPP only kind of a spot there.
Yeah, I'm considering
just taking a shot, right?
Yeah, I'm considering the St. Louis second line in a couple lineups as filler stacks. They're not a priority for me.
Yeah.
It would be St. Louis 1, but I think I'm just taking a few too many top lines where I probably won't get to them. It worries me a little bit, but I'm hoping that they see the Barkov line for my sake and they just kind of cancel each other out. But I don't know. That's just what I'm doing with limited lineups. If I had more than 20 tonight, I would for sure be playing some St. Louis 1 and probably some Florida 1 as well.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Defenseman here, we've got Dunbeck on the top power play, Parayko on the second. Both those guys skating on the top pairing at even strength. Both those guys looking to be favorites in terms of value for Osimo. And then on the other side, again, we've got a couple good guys skating together at even strength. Yandel, Ekblad, different power plays, but what are you doing with the blue line here in this game?
I really like Dunn and Parayko. Edmondson is out for the Blues. He was a good shot blocking kind of guy. I think Parayko's going to see a ton of minutes, and Dunn's got the power play spot there. He's near min price on FanDuel. So power play against Florida, fire him up. And then Florida, it's going to be Yandel and Ekblad for me, possibly Matheson.
Our buddy Furman's doing this game too. Is that correct?
How have his numbers been trending? I imagine he had a talking to and it's probably cooled it off. I haven't paid attention to the refs in some time.
Neither have I. I always forget when you're not on the show. Let's see. He is still first in power plays per game, first in penalties per game, first in penalty minutes per game, 8th in goals per game. I don't know. Maybe it's just so skewed to those first few games where he was just lighting up everyone.
So I believe his numbers looked like he was really big in penalties per game and penalty minutes per game, but his power plays per game was like 18th or something.
Okay.
So he was, I guess, calling a lot of matching shit. But then, I guess after a few games in a row of 10 penalties a game, that's when the power plays started to go.
Okay. All right. So
I mean, in general, Florida does draw a ton of power plays.
Huh. Really? I wouldn't think of them as that kind of team, but
yeah, they draw the most power plays in the league.
Yeah, wow. Right up there with Tampa Bay. Jeez.
Yeah. I haven't looked. I haven't included the December stats, but I have full season in November currently.
Is there an art to that?
Sorry?
Is there an art to that? Like, would you
drawing penalties?
I
saw an article come out saying that Barkov has drawn the most penalties in the league, and he's never taken a single penalty.
He's never taken. Oh, this year.
Sorry, I shouldn't have said never. I shouldn't have said never. This season, he hasn't taken a single penalty.
That's still kind of crazy.
Yeah, he hasn't served a minute.
I know, like McDavid is really awesome at it, but you'd expect that.
Yeah, speed, right? It's speed.
Okay, that makes some sense. I'd like to read that article at some point.
It was on Vots in his Twitter list for Florida. I think it popped up today. I scanned through it. I didn't actually read it, but
awesome. Interesting.
I saw that little headline. Cool. So that was interesting. But they're making a big point of that. And he plays the shutdown role, right? So you're going against other good, skilled, fast players, having to check them tightly, and then you're not taking penalties on them. That's pretty skilled.
Okay, cool. We've got Jake Allen and Roberto Luongo It appears to be Roberto Luongo for Florida. Either of these guys looking like solid value plays for you on DK?
I'll have some of them. I wouldn't. It's hard to point to one of them and say, oh, they're a great play, because they could really go either way. Mm-hmm. They're two inconsistent goalies with upside and reasonable price tags. I think this game in general has a wide range of outcomes depending on how things match, how many power plays there are, all that.
Right. Yeah.
If St. Louis bounces back from being embarrassed last game.
Yeah, that's a good point too. There's that narrative if people are into that. So
yeah,
they just got smoked at home against Vancouver, I believe it was.
Yeah, 6-1.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next
Allen had been playing better until that game.
Who's that? Oh, Allen.
Jake Allen. A little bit. Well, maybe just 3 games. Never mind.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a hot streak.
Yeah, he went into Winnipeg, shut them out 1-0, and then the next game gives up 3 goals on 6 shots to Vancouver at home.
That's the Jake Allen ride right there.
Yeah.
Senators and Predators, we have a 2.4 implied total for Ottawa, 3.6 for Nashville. Craig Anderson, Pekka Rinne, likely for the Preds. How chalky is Nashville going to be here? They're incredibly cheap, huge total, and Ottawa on the other side, the secret's out on them. They're the worst defensive team in the NHL by almost any metric you look at. So what kind of chalk are we looking at here with?
Just let me double check on the lines here, because I thought I heard some buzz about Hartman being out.
Yeah, someone said that in chat this morning, and then I did a Twitter search, and usually something comes up, but I didn't.
And
it looked like
Watson was in a walking boot as well, I thought I heard. So I don't know what these lines are.
Let's see. Nolan was doing the digging through the beat writers today, and he didn't he's all over the Predators, he's saying. So I don't know, maybe he just didn't catch some stuff, but I didn't see anything alarming about, especially Hartman, because this was a line that I really like, that everyone's gonna like, the Johansson one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm just seeing on the NHL.com link that it's what they have on Daily Faceoff, but that's something to keep an eye on. I want to catch an update on Watson, because that's going to impact most of their lines, I would think. But I'm pretty sure I read that he was in a walking boot.
That doesn't seem optimal.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like you could play off that.
Yeah.
Who knows? But in general, yeah, I would. And then my early research, I didn't see Tolvanen up on that second line. That's kind of appealing to me. Yeah. There, that he's in the top 6. I didn't see any great numbers on the. Oh, actually, they're not too bad. The Johansson line numbers are pretty good offensively, but they're poor defensively as well, as far as giving up high danger chances. To be honest, from a GPP perspective, I was more interested in Ottawa at a super cheap price tag there. The Stone line. Yeah.
I love it.
I'm more interested in that line as far as forward lines in this game. And I really like Josi and Ellis in this matchup. I think that's the best. I think those are the best plays on Nashville's side.
I agree. So yeah, you should just basically said everything that I was kind of thinking and talking about in chat this morning. Josi, Ellis, like clearly 2 of the best plays at their price points.
Sure, yeah.
On defense, you can double stack them. You can do whatever you want as long as one of those 2 guys is in your lineups. Those guys one of or both of them will probably be in all 20 of mine. It just seems like such a good spot. Ottawa's bad on the kill, and home spot for Nashville. Even though they're banged up with their forwards, those 2 guys should play a ton of minutes if this game is relatively close. And I just absolutely love those 2 guys. I like the Johansson Fiala combo with Hartman, assuming he's good to go as well. And then, Ottawa 1, White, Tkachuk, Stone. They're just too cheap. So maybe not an optimal matchup, but crazy good prices you're getting for a line that was like Stone and Tkachuk were just mid 6Ks a few games ago. So
I think the thing is they're priced as against Nashville's full season stats. And then Subban's not playing. He's their best defensive player.
Yeah.
And Forsberg's not playing, and Arvidsson's not playing, and Turris is not playing. Like, they're missing a lot of guys. And if you look at this top 6 from Nashville, they're not great defensively. There's nothing in here that I'm scared of. Josi and Ellis are not great defensively as far as limiting shot attempts and scoring chances. they're offensive. Like Yossi's an offensive guy. He's not a great defensive player. So that's kind of, yeah. I mean, do you have to go here on a 10-game slate, like Ottawa on the road and a tough building to play in? I don't know. I just think they're underpriced for how good they actually are.
I think you should go here. Yeah, it's just a value thing. Like if you're making more than a couple lineups, I don't know how you don't, like, it's just very obvious value on Ottawa's top line. Full power play correlation as well. Like Shabbat should come up a decent amount for some people. He always does for me, and he's down to 5,600, which I like. So, I'm gonna have a decent amount of Ottawa here. Definitely gonna have them as filler stacks with the big guys tonight.
Is Nashville doing much matching?
I didn't see anything alarming.
Okay, I was gonna say, because if we saw the two top lines run head to head, I'd take the Stone line in that matchup. Mm-hmm. And but that also kind of would make the second line for Nashville appealing as well. They seem to have decent enough numbers on a small sample size. Mm-hmm. The Smith, Yarncroc, Tolvanen, 30 minutes, pretty high shot attempts, pretty decent high danger scoring chances as well.
Yeah.
And then the Ottawa lines below that Stone line are just pure trash. So defensively,
that's saying it nicely, I think.
Yeah,
pure trash.
So nice. I think there's, the other thing I can see too though is if Watson is playing, if it's Bonino, Watson, whatever, that would be the shutdown line, I think.
Okay. Yeah, they've used that, the Bonino, Sissons, Watson.
Yeah, but when I saw that Watson was in the walking boot, I wasn't sure that they would still do that.
Yeah.
Depending on who's playing. Yeah, so I need to look at that after and just see how they would likely match up. But it could actually work out well for the Johansson line as well.
Sure. You like Rinne or Anderson here? Rinne up to 8,300.
Rinne's a bit too expensive, really.
That's fine.
From a point per dollar play, I don't love it. I'm not going to rule him out, but it's not. Ottawa hasn't been a great goaltender matchup.
Okay.
And I would include Anderson in some Stone line stacks, I think.
Yeah, you can basically get whichever line you want in if you go with Stone, White, Tkachuk with Anderson. So you're just leaving yourself a lot of different ways to go, whether it's Winnipeg 1 or Colorado 1 or another expensive line and a top defenseman.
Yeah.
All right, I should mention this 24 days of giveaway before we go on to the next game, Montreal and Minnesota. So you guys have heard this promo we're doing. We're giving away a free pass to premium content for a month of your choosing this week. And all you have to do to be eligible for this prize is like this video and comment. We're going to do a player who scores a hat trick tonight. So after this video is done, you can comment on the actual video, not in the chat box that you're seeing right now. You actually have to go to the video, like it, and then comment. You gain an entry into the grand prize, and you can get, each day, you get entered into the 24 days of giveaway. So this week, like I mentioned, a month of a sport of your choosing for free. It is completely free to enter, like, comment, like I said. Or instead of a sport of your choosing, you can get a piece of merchandise from our new store, shop@awesemo.com. So you're going to want to check that out. You can also just buy stuff from the shop. We've got some Awesemo swag, so pretty cool stuff in there. Hoping I can rock that for some shows in the future. But yeah, 24 days of giveaway. Do that, comment, like, and you will be entered in. Montreal and Minnesota. We have a 2.8 implied total for the Canadiens, 3.3 for Minnesota. Antti Niemi in net for Montreal. Devan Dubnyk in net for the Wild. A struggling Devan Dubnyk at that. This is one where I think we're going to see very little ownership for a 10-game slate. Nothing really will stick out to anyone if they're like hand building, I don't think. This Domi line's been super hot. The Stahl-Zucker-Granlund line has decent numbers, but are you going anywhere here heavily, Steve?
Heavily, no, but I definitely want a piece of both teams here. You have Niemi in net for the Habs, and that makes the top two lines for the Wild very appealing. I think, Yeah, if you look at the second line, they're super cheap, and obviously the top line is very solid and has great numbers. And then on the Montreal side, I think they're worth a shot too because Koivu's not playing.
Yep.
And he's really been the only line you want to avoid at even strength. So.
Yeah. Like the Stahl, Zucker, Grand line, like they're good offensively, very good, but their defensive numbers have started to come back to earth. Like they were not giving up any high danger chances. Now they're back to where they were last year, so you can definitely target against them. And then I wouldn't expect Coyle to be some shutdown center, even with Niederreiter and Parise on his line.
Yeah.
So is there a line, like, are you looking to that Domi, Drouin, Shaw line again?
I don't really know what they're going to do with the matching here. I don't think there's nothing in particular that I want to target here. The Domi line seems to be scoring most of the goals.
They are
on the one hand, but the Gallagher line is just an elite possession line, and they're generating a lot of high danger chances too. So just straight looking at the numbers, the Gallagher line seems much better, but the Domi Drouin line is getting most of the results. So you know, I would say the Gallagher line is your best bet here as far as generating shots and all that, and high danger chances. But I would play both just because the Domi line's getting the results.
Yeah, for sure. So maybe the number's not telling the full story here, like we've seen with the Stahl line in Carolina, where it was just incredible numbers, but they seem to just never finish. Like you'd think, I mean, the Tatar Gallagher line hasn't been that bad at finishing. They've had a couple big games, but it just hasn't been for a while. So I think they're both in play for me as well. And I like getting a piece of this game, especially with Minnesota 1. I like them a ton. And they're, again, not a price that's going to stick out to people. You can't really fit them with some of the top lines. So I think pretty low ownership for a home game. And maybe they see a bunch of time against Domi, Drouin, Shaw. That would be a pretty fun, high-paced matchup. So
exactly. Like, I don't know which one's going to get that matchup in general. I don't know what to expect there. So that's why I want to play both the Minnesota lines, just because that's a very clear difference between the two Montreal lines. Very clear difference.
Yeah,
and then with Niemi backing it up, like it seems like a good spot for offense.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe they don't even hard match with Koivu out. I'm not sure, but
maybe not. Maybe not.
Who knows?
It's possible. On the Montreal side, in general, I don't like to target against Minnesota in Minnesota. They don't give up many expected goals against at 5-on-5. They're pretty solid. Their penalty kill is pretty solid too. But no Koivu makes me want to take a shot here.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Shea Weber at 5,700 or Petrie or Schlemko, any of these guys doing it for you. And then same thing on Minnesota. We got a few guys in play. The usuals, Dumba, Spurgeon, Suter, kind of all in that same price range.
Yeah, it would just be Weber and Petrie for me, I think, on Montreal side. Prefer cheaper options in other games. They're probably going to be maybe a bit more high event. And then, Suter, Dumba, Spurgeon, you can never really tell. So just the mix.
It's just whoever fits. That's how I do it usually.
They're all about the same price now.
Like looking at their power play, though, well, first of all, is Granlund off a power play entirely? That
shouldn't
be foolish, but
yeah, I wouldn't expect so.
Yeah, I mean he's not listed on one right now on Daily Faceoff, but
that has to be a mistake from them.
Has to be, right? I don't know. Maybe Boudreau's mad at him because he's not shooting at all. But Parise, Coyle, and Niederreiter are all on the top power play, or at least listed there right now. And I say top power play, but they split time no matter what. So they'd probably go better with Dumba or Spurgeon. Does Dumba being with Suter at even strength help his cause a little bit?
Yeah, actually, I think so.
Okay.
And that's probably a bit of a downgrade for Spurgeon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Dubnyk, 7,900. I'm not touching Niemi for 7,300. I think he could get lit up here.
Yep, totally agree.
All right. Blackhawks and the Winnipeg Jets. We have a 2.6 implied total for the Hawks, 3.5 for the Jets. Cam Ward is your goalie for the Blackhawks. Laurent Brossoit for the Jets. We've got two viable lines here for Winnipeg. Top line should be the highest owned line of the night, and you can see why. Just look at how terrible the Blackhawks are. I don't know. What do you kind of expect to see for ownership for Winnipeg 1? Do you have a feel on them at different stakes here?
I think they'll probably be higher owned, and Well, it's hard to say. It's hard to say because I think that maybe in higher stakes, guys might branch out to Winnipeg 2, for example, and that'll decrease some of the ownership.
For sure.
But I think Winnipeg's overall ownership should be higher in higher stakes. So I just think So it might take the individual Winnipeg 1 might be lower, but the combined Winnipeg ownership might be more.
Sure. And not that it really matters, but do you see any sort of line matching here with Scheifele, Ehlers, and Wheeler?
They played not too long ago at home. I'd have to pull that up. I'm not sure if they matched on Taves or Kane, but I figure they'll do a match there for sure.
Okay.
I think they've been matching.
Yeah, they usually do. I just I wasn't sure if we'll get a clear read on them before lock.
Yeah, probably not a clear read. They played at home November 29th. I'll just try to pull that up real quick. How are we for time?
There's no NBA show until we've got another hour, so we'll get off in the next few minutes. But
it looks like they tried to go heavier against Kane, but Kane was playing with Strome and DeBrincat at the time.
Yeah. So
and then they had the Lowry, Tanev, Perreault line against Taves, and that put little Laine Connor against the third line.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't really matter. Winnipeg's going to have the advantage, both lines, I think.
Yeah, they will.
Do you like any Chicago lines here?
If Chicago third line was really sick, then maybe against that little line, but no.
Yeah.
Probably pass.
I don't really like anything on Chicago's side. So
that Kane, Strome, DeBrincat line gave up 4 even strength goals. Kane gave up 5 in that last time they played. It was a 6-5 game at Winnipeg.
They're gonna get blasted tonight.
That third line scored 3 goals. That Cahoon, Kampf, and Hayden scored 3 goals against the little line.
Wow.
Actually, no, they scored against the fourth line and the second line. Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's not much to talk about here outside of Winnipeg's top 2 lines.
Winnipeg 1 and 2 are solid. Their power play in general, very good power play matchup. Hard not to like them.
Yeah.
They should smash them.
They should. It's just going to be a matter of whether or not the goals link up like how you want them to.
Yep. Yeah, the correlations could be a little different. Yeah. That's the one tough part is, do I stack Scheifele, Wheeler with Ehlers or with Connor or Laine, something like that.
Connor's cheap all of a sudden for no reason.
Yeah, he's cheaper. So I found myself doing that in my first lineup I created. But
you could do
different correlation.
6-man? You can't do a 6-man. So that's good at least on draft.
Unless you do the third line or something.
Right.
I don't really think you want to do that. Yeah, and we don't really have a lot of data on these current Chicago lines, so it's hard to say which one's the better matchup that way. But I just expect both lines to do well. Both of the top 2 lines to do well.
Yeah, I don't know how they don't. You got any interest in the goalies, Cam Ward or Brossoit?
I like Brossoit, especially on FanDuel. He's only 7,700.
All right, that's where I'm at as well. And then defenseman here, anyone you want to mention outside of kind of the obvious guys?
No, I mean, Trouba, Bufflin. Those are the main guys I care about. Chicago, just not as interested.
Yeah, Yoki is 33 on DK.
Yeah, how's he been doing on the shots and blocks? Nothing really. Yeah. But he's only playing 14 minutes a game, too.
Well, he's with Keith tonight, or at least he's listed there.
Yeah, actually, you know what? So from what I saw, if you look at the defense pairing possession numbers and scoring chances and stuff like that, that's actually a decent pairing, Keith and Jokiharju.
Okay.
And but the Seabrook Manning one is horrible, absolutely horrible. So I think that really shapes up quite well for the Winnipeg 2 line.
Yeah, Chicago's gonna get smashed here. I mean, just take your pick with these Winnipeg top 6.
I think that would be my recommendation if you're gonna play Winnipeg. If you're just gonna play like one lineup of Winnipeg, you didn't want to have all the different combinations and exposures. I would say play Winnipeg 2, just for lower ownership and same game, same grade. So.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's go. Last game of the night. We've got, I think, a pretty fun one. So we've got the Oilers and the Colorado Avalanche. 2.8 implied total for Edmonton, 3.1 for Colorado. Mikko Koskinen, Semyon Varlamov for Colorado is, I would think, likely. No confirmation just yet, but we've got two very high-powered lines here with Colorado 1 and Edmonton 1. Are you taking a strong stance on either one here?
I like Colorado 1 just at home. Power play matchup's really good against Edmonton's penalty kill. And also the McDavid line's been very high event. They're giving up a lot defensively.
Yep, that's exactly what I saw. Like 17 or 18 high danger chances against per 60 for this Edmonton line, and you'd expect MacKinnon to see a very healthy dose of them. MacKinnon's got the way better line mates, so I don't know. They're gonna smash, I think, at even strength, or at least trade chances at the very least. So I'm all over Colorado 1. I think they are my highest exposed line of the night. At least that's what I plan on right now. So they're super expensive, but I think they're that much better of a play than a lot of the other ones. So I'm going there, and that's why I'm like digging down to like Columbus 3 and some of these cheaper lines like that.
Yeah, that's fair.
So any of these other depth lines interesting to you, or are you going to the McDavid line on the other side?
I'll try to have some McDavid line. Probably their power play is kind of interesting, given Colorado's recent surge in penalty. Like they take a lot of penalties. Their penalty kill's been getting worse.
Yeah.
So
I think that just makes me worried about Varlamov.
Yeah. So, I'm not huge on either of the goalies here.
Agreed. We've got some defensemen to talk about. Tyson Barrie, under 5K. You can fit him in with Colorado 1. I've tried, so it is doable. It's tough. But him and Klefbom, I think, are the two very obvious plays on both sides here.
Yeah, fully agree. I don't think there's too much I would like to expand to. Nurse is a bit too expensive. I'd rather just get Barrie at 4,900. Maybe Ian Cole has had a pretty decent floor at times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like EJ a little bit at 3,800, but he's not a priority play by any means. And Cole's
he doesn't tend to chip in much in the offense, though. I find.
No, that you're dead on it. So he's more of a floor play for sure.
Yeah. I haven't really looked at Nemeth. Does he do anything? Blocks, I guess.
He is, but he's not playing enough minutes. So
yeah, that's true.
If you're trying to jam in Colorado 1 with another like mid-tier line, and like Nemeth would be a way to get to him. Nemeth or Nemeth, I don't know. But Osmo does have him as a B value as well. So probably will have a share or two of him. Anything else on this slate that we should talk about? Anything we kind of missed here?
Just keep an eye on some of these line combinations before the games, just in case. I don't know. Like I don't trust Tortorella completely in Columbus. Keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on Arizona. I don't know if anyone has any interest in playing them, but keep an eye there. Maybe LA or Detroit could do something on the back-to-back. Just a couple spots to watch. Watch Nashville just in case with some injuries.
Yeah, I was going to say Nashville might be a night to test out the old late swaptomizer on Fantasy Cruncher. So
I don't know if it's going for
it's live for NHL.
It is?
Yep, it's live.
Oh, sick.
It's live.
Awesome.
So that's late swap for people that don't know. You can
actually
re-optimize after lock, which is incredibly cool. Thank you, Fantasy Cruncher. I don't know. I probably would have talked about it even if we weren't partnered with them, but we are partnered with Fantasy Cruncher, and it's an awesome tool. And if you do MME, or even if you don't, try out this late swaptomizer. Be patient. I'm sure there's some like bugs and stuff, but really cool thing that they're doing for NBA. I know they have it, and then I think Dave said NFL is live as well. So are you on it right now?
Yeah, I'm on it for draft. So I was looking at FanDuel. Maybe it's not live for FanDuel. I think that could be it.
Yeah, that could be it. But
definitely. I see it. I see it on DraftKings. That's amazing. That's a really good feature, and definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, you and the thing is too, like a lot of these pros, outside of like testosterone, I think their priority isn't gonna be NHL. So if you use Fantasy Cruncher, and there are like late swaps, like you should definitely utilize this late swaptomizer.
Yeah, and I think you can play with it on Rewind as well. So what I'd suggest is if you had any interest in it, snagging one of your CSVs tonight midway through the games,
For sure.
And just saving one like that so you can test with it later.
Yeah. So I haven't played with it just yet. I kind of caught the end of Manny's stream, and I saw that Dave said it was live. So I'm going to play around with it now. But yeah, super, super cool tool. Definitely would suggest checking it out if you are an Osmo sub or Fantasy Cruncher sub.
So good for me, a guy like me who is always scrambling last minute to get my lineups in and getting stuck with my my early games in there in every lineup. So
yeah, now
definitely worth checking out for that.
Now you can optimize with your guys that are locked. So it'll be
I don't have to manually click through every lineup.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so huge. Guys, 24 days giveaway. Comment with the guy who is going to score a hat trick tonight. You win an entry into a drawing. It is random drawing. You can get access to a 1 month of Osmo.com Premium for the sport of your choosing. So not just NHL, not just NFL. If you want to do NBA and you win it, there you go. You get a free month of NBA. And with that entry, you also get entered into the grand prize, which is a free year of Osmo.com Premium, all access, all sports, $700 value. So comment, like this video, and that's how you get entered. Steve, anything else we should mention?
Not really. I think we covered everything. So just good luck tonight, guys.
Yeah, good luck. See you at the top. Go Winnipeg.